Hey, it was Des back with another video. So yeah, on this one, I want to quickly talk about a few things. Yeah, obviously, what was interesting about the whole last weekend and this week Premier League games. Was obviously United beat City to help us to create that gap between ourselves and City. Then United went and dropped points to Palace to again help us create that gap with United. Then Tottenham were like leading against Man City. That would have been the perfect, the perfect game week where City would have dropped points, then United would have dropped points after helping us to take points off City. Then City were about to drop points to Tottenham, but obviously, flipping Tottenham, man. That's what they do, man. Just fumble and fumble and fucking fumble, man. They messed it up like butlers. But oh man, when it was 2-0 up, I was thinking this is beautiful. We're gonna create the gap. We'll end up having 2 games in hand over them, and oh man. But anyways, I think all we literally have to do now, if we go to when United come to play us, we beat them. United are completely out. Because remember, I said United were in the title race after beating City, based off like they were getting closer and stuff like that, and thinking they were gonna beat Palace. But now, if we beat United, they're completely out. That's it. Like, we beat United and they're out the title race, and it's just between us and City. And I feel like the way City are playing, they're not going to be consistent enough to keep up with us. I feel like the title is really ours, man. I feel like the title is really ours. Where, like, yeah, I think I'm so confident that we can actually win the title. It's just a matter of ensuring that we don't drop our form, based off of injuries or fitness issues and stuff like that, which is really important that we continue to add depth to the squad. And that will go on to my next point, which is Mudryk. So as I'm previously just saying now about how, for me, the title is ours. All we have to do is just maintain, because like our first 11 at the moment is good enough to win the title. They've shown it. Even if we know that there's some areas that we want to improve. Obviously, we want to improve on left wing. We long term want to improve on our centre mid position. Long term want to improve at right back and things like that. Even though we know there's some areas that we want to improve, we still know that this team right now is showing that they're good enough to be at this level. I think I saw a table where over like the year or over the last amount, maybe like over the year period from like January 22 or something like that, we're like second to Man City only. So I think we're definitely good enough to win the league. And if we can't get the marquee signing, which was Mudryk, that we wanted to do, because obviously we had plans to get Mudryk. We wanted to spend like 90 million in him and stuff like that. We weren't able to do that. But I feel like if we weren't able to get a marquee left winger, that's fine. We can go back in for that in the summer. But what I've liked in recent days since not being able to sign Mudryk is that we've dealt with the squad depth. Because like I said already, if we can't get the game-changing winger that we want, that we need at left wing, if we can't get that game-changing winger, we know that this first 11 is good enough. So just ensure that this team can be fit to play the next 20 games. And if they can play the next 20 games and they can maintain this level and play the next 20 games, then we can win the title. But for them to be able to do that, we need to have squad depth. We need to have depth to ensure that these players are fit and ready. Which is why I've liked what we've basically done since missing out on Mudryk. And I think what we've done could actually help us like towards the title. So like, for example, the moment we missed out on Mudryk, we started getting linked with Diaby. Obviously that fell out. Then we started getting linked to Trossard. And now, as of yesterday, we signed Trossard. And obviously for me, the signing of Trossard is going to ensure that we've got depth in the wide areas. Because remember, we said we're lacking depth in the attacking, in the forward line. So Trossard deals with that because he can play on both sides. He can play on the left, he can play on the right. He can play up top as well. So he helps with depth. But I don't think he'll play up top. I think he's mainly going to play in the wide areas. So I think he helps us with depth in that area to make sure that Martinelli and Saka are fit for the whole season. Because if Martinelli is struggling for a bit, Trossard can come in and ensure that he's fit. And he doesn't just keep him playing. Because at the moment, Martinelli and Saka are playing every single game, you know what I mean? So now we've got Trossard who can make sure that they can come in, because obviously otherwise there's no what's it called, like we can't rest them. But now with Trossard, we know that even if we're winning like 1-0 or winning like 2-1 or some shit like that, we can still bring in Trossard to make sure that these guys get, even if it's 20 minutes rest or 10 minutes rest, we can bring them on. Because last time we had to bring on Tierney for Martinelli, you know what I mean? So Trossard helps us with that depth in that area. And then we had the links at the moment, and it looks like it's actually going to be done. Is the centre back, the Polish centre back? Is it Kiwior? I don't know how you say his name. With Jakob. We're linked with him as well. That for me is another important one as well, because when you think about it, Gabriel barely gets any rest. The reason being is we don't have another left-footed centre back. And you know how important that left-footed centre back is to Arteta, because he likes the way the centre back is like, if you're a left footed centre back, you have a different kind of angle to a right footed centre back playing at left centre back, if you get what I'm trying to say. So Arteta likes that angle, that ability to open up on that side, especially because our left back drifts inside. And then you've got that angle where he can find the left winger, he can carry the ball inside and play a ball across into midfield, or he can also carry the ball past the halfway line and then do like a switch of play to the opposite flank. These are all things that's a lot easier to do and takes like quicker time, because you have to remember, in top level football is all about doing things quickly. So the point where a right footer would have to put the ball on his right foot and then make that cross to the opposite side, it's easy for Gabriel to do it in one motion. He can literally just run and just cross it. He doesn't have to then switch his body angle again and do the cross. He can just run and cross it. So that just buys him an extra inch a second. That could be the difference between finding a pass between line before the defense becomes organized. So them kind of things like that is, if you can do things quicker, it's better to do it quicker. You know what I mean? So that's key, and it looks like we've signed this guy who can play centre back and possibly also cover for defensive mid as well. So that's also an important signing to give us squad depth, which means that Gabriel can start to get some rest. So maybe we play like a lower team and we're maybe winning 1-0 or something like that. This guy can come in and play that game. Another thing is, we've been playing like Europa League and stuff like that, and Gabriel was having to play in this game. Either one of Gabriel or Saliba has been playing these games. Now we've got this guy and we've got Holden. They can play the Europa League games or they can play the FA Cup games, you know what I mean? So we don't have to use any of our main centre backs to like play in these other games. We can just rest them so they can play in the league. We've got 20 important games. I'm not concerned about Europa League, I'm not concerned about FA Cup. We've got 20 Europa League games, 20 Premier League games. We win those games and we could have number 14. You know what I mean? So that's important. So like I said, and then the other one that we're linked to was the Fresneda, the right back from Sociedad. I think it's Sociedad. No, Real Valladolid. That's it. Or however you pronounce it. That guy, we're being linked with him, and for me, obviously that's like a long-term plan. And I've already said before that Ben White is good in that position, and I like what he's offering at right back. But long-term, we're gonna have to look for someone who's a bit more different, someone who's a bit more like attacking wise. Maybe this guy can be there if we trust the guy and we can develop him. That's fine. But I think we need to look for a more natural right back in that position. As of this season, though, it means that Ben White can be rested. He doesn't have to play Europa League games. He doesn't have to come into centre back because we're gonna have this Polish centre back as well. And Tomiyasu can just be the right back. You know what I mean? Or this guy can also be the right back if Tomiyasu is injured. So all we've done with this is that we've basically just improved our depth. Basically, we've added to our depth to ensure that we've got a strong first 11 that can keep on playing for the next 20 games. Because as I said, we've got 20 important games. Nothing else matters, because you never know when we're going to be in a title race again. You see what I mean? So you got to take that opportunity. So I'm glad we didn't lose out on Mudryk and just gave up on everything. Instead, we lost out on Mudryk. Fine, we can't do anything about that. Now go and improve the squad depth, because you know that your first 11 is good enough. Improve your squad depth and ensure that your first 11 are fit for the next 20 important games. Every game from now to the end of the season is a cup final, and we have great results in this game. We keep on winning these games, and the title is ours. We're in the lead. We're in control of all these things. We're the best team in the league. We're the team in form. So just have to keep maintaining that, and these are going to help us to maintain it. In terms of the new recruitments, if we get all of these guys. One last thing again is that I think we still need to get a defensive mid. Even if this Polish guy can play in defensive mid, I think we should possibly still try and look for a defensive mid, someone that can cover for Partey, because that's another key area again that could suffer. So for me, that would be like something that's really important as well. Like that's a priority. I think we need to try and get a defensive mid in case anything can happen with Partey. We've got 20 more games and anything can happen in that area. He needs to get rested. I've said before, like, Onini and Lokonga, they offer they're not as progressive as Partey is, but against the lesser teams, they can get on the ball and play the ball between lines. They can, like, you see only pass the ball between lines and stuff like that. But what's really missing when Partey is not there compared to these guys, besides the progressive style, is the fact that he's really good defensively. He's so much better defensively than them. Only can defend what's in front of him. Lokonga can defend what's in front of him. But it's like the reading of the game is different when you're a defensive-minded player, when you understand positioning, reading of the game, having concentration, tracking runners, all these sort of things that you have to be switched on about. Only and Lokonga don't have that, but Partey has that. So I think Partey is really important in that sense, because he has all these tools. But if we can sign a defensive mid, even if the defensive midfielder is not as good on the ball as Partey is, as long as the guy is good enough defensively, whereby we don't miss the defensive ability that Partey gives us, then then that's gonna really help us. Because at the end of the day, we've got Zinchenko who can build up play, Saliba, Gabriel, and Ben White who all drift inside and help us to build up play. So we're not struggling in that sense. As long as we have someone that can really defend in that area, then we're gonna be good. But in terms of like Trossard, because that's the only new signing that's obviously agreed on. What I would say about him is that from obviously I didn't concentrate on anything like that, but when it was at Brighton and things, but from looking at videos, for me the first thing that stood out to me was his control on the ball. Insane control of the ball. Like he's got good footwork, he's got good control. He's got that low center of gravity as well, and that which allows him to have that balance. You know what I mean? Like you see him when he has the ball and he does these little cutbacks and these little like entire space. He's not like an explosive winger or anything like that, but he seems to have really good control of the ball, good footwork. He's got good composure inside the box, so he's not like when he gets in the box, he's not like panicking. He doesn't have to shoot straight away. He's willing to keep on faking guys and keep on playing fake shots and stuff like that, just to keep on creating that extra gap. There's quite a few players that have that. Gabriel Jesus is another one who has great composure in the box, whereby when he's in the box, he doesn't need to rush it. He can take his time, cut you back, do a little skill. He's got that, he's got that, the ball's stuck to his feet. He can do them little skills to create that little gap for himself, feint you and stuff like that. He's got that. So that's something he has. Out wide, I feel where Trossard is going to be really good is around the box, like in the half space, on the edge of the box, inside the box. When he receives in his areas, I think he's going to be really good because of that close control. He's got close control, he's got good footwork. So the way he's moving around, he's got low center of gravity, he's got balance, so he's not easily knocked off the ball. So when he's doing all these things, is that he can create space for himself inside the box just by being really composed, and he's got good ball striking technique as well. So I feel like what's going to be important with what he can give us as an alternative to Martinelli on that left side, or even Saka when he has to come in for them, is the fact that he can receive. We don't have a player that can receive on like in a half space or on the edge of the box and just fake himself and create a little space and take a shot straight away. We don't have that. Like Martinelli can shoot, but he's not a guy that's just gonna just fake you there and then fake you turn and just bang. You know what I mean? Like that's what Trossard can do. He's got that. He for me, when I look at him, he seems to have that ability where he can like fake you, and then as soon as he sees a little angle, he can shoot from there. He's got good ball striking technique, especially because he can shoot with left or right. He can turn in his left, he can turn in his right. That makes him really difficult to mark inside the box, and I think his signing is going to be key as well, especially because of the angles he likes to create. Yes, he's not a natural winger like Martinelli or Saka that are going to stick really wide, but one thing I think is going to improve when he plays on that left hand side is that he's going to engage in a lot more combination play. He seems like that kind of guy. Those little 1-2s and 1-2s, and you see Brighton doing that. These little 1-2s here and there, 1-2s, and like on the edge of the box they play this nice combination 1-2 touch. And then they just free themselves. I remember us being able to do this before in the past when we had Monreal left back, Cazorla and on the 10, and we had Podolski on the left, and we saw some great combination football from Monreal, who was drifting inside. Cazorla would go out wide and just play a little 1-2 here and there, and then free up the space. And I feel like we can see this with Zinchenko and Xhaka and Trossard on that left side when he plays. We can see some nice combination plays he'll receive. And the thing is that because as I mentioned, he's got this nice control, he's got this good footwork, he's got composure. When he plays this little combination and he receives on the in a half space or on the edge of the box, he will be able to keep the ball like tight to his feet. He'll be able to drop a shoulder, create space for himself, and he's got great ball striking technique as well. So I think it gives us another option, another avenue for goals as well. Especially because you see he's scoring goals as well. So I think he gives us another alternative to Martinelli. He gives us something that Martinelli wouldn't do, because Martinelli really stays wide. I think there's been games where we've been wanting Martinelli to drift inside a bit more. I think we're going to see that from Trossard. So yeah, no, I think that's a good signing, a good short-term signing for now. And I think he can also, if he goes well, he can obviously offer something for us long-term, even though we're still going to be looking for marquee left winger. So yeah, that's it for me in terms of all my thoughts before the United game. So yeah, catch you guys after the United game.